All right, we're going to get started at the middle of the hour. It's about 3 minutes from now. Go ahead and settle in. All right, good morning, good morning. It is 8:30 sharp. We're going to get right to the action here in a second. Welcome back. Already kind of did the pre-work. It looks like we had 40 trades that hit take profit overnight from the London and New York sessions from yesterday. That's in addition to the 61 trades that hit take profit yesterday from the day before that. So been kind of clearing things out. We did have a bit of a surprise. Well, not a surprise to me because I did talk about this. Bitcoin dropped to 80,600 overnight, which cleared out a lot of our shorts. And I will explain where I think it's going to go as a worst case scenario and in the near future here in a second. We're actually going to start with that explanation. So let's go to Bitcoin. Just want to share with you guys what exactly is going on here. First of all this action is being driven by record cash outflows from Bitcoin ETFs. So what the institutional traders are doing are they're systematically driving down price to liquidate people that are trying to go long on Bitcoin. And unfortunately, most retail traders like ourselves make the mistake of thinking that just because something is low, they psychologically convince themselves it's time to buy something. And that's very rarely the case. Why? Because you can see where all the buy orders are. Got to remember about 85% of the activity in the market are computers. Computers are programmed, and they're programmed with certain parameters. And one of those parameters that they hold in common is called a stop hunt. In other words, they know exactly where the edge of your trade is, and they will liquidate you if they're close enough. So let's take a look at the daily. This is current price for Bitcoin. Below, you see all of the order blocks that are available in recent price history for Bitcoin, and there's only 3 of them left. The next one's actually at 1 cent. There's one guy that has a buy order at 1 cent. So not even theoretically, it's impossible for Bitcoin to go below 1 cent because of that order. Now, price is currently at 84,000 and change. The next order block to break through is at 76,100. Now, this is past the 800 EMA. So if it gets past this artificial bottom that it formed at 80,600 overnight, which by the way is a false bottom, it has a chance what's going to start breaking through. So 76,100 is the first area of support. You have another area of support at 71,000 even. And then the bare minimum of the market where people, for some reason, still have buy orders is way down at 65,500. Now, based off of price action, there's no reason for Bitcoin to go below 65,500 because there's no liquidity to be grabbed. No one has an order below that except for one guy at 1 cent. And there's not enough liquidity from institutional buyers or motive for them to drive price down that low. So I believe that Bitcoin is crashing to at least 65,500 at the best case scenario, worst case scenario, and then it will begin its recovery. Now, I don't agree with most analysts that the recovery will be to around the 200,000 range. I don't think that at all. I think Bitcoin is going to have incredible difficulty because of the market sentiment of people climbing back to 100,000 in the near term. But once it reaches that psychological level of 100,000 and hopefully forms strong supports for price as it continues to climb, I don't think we'll see 100,000 or below again for Bitcoin after this point. So if you're thinking about kind of burning down the house or jumping over the bridge, it looks like your worst case scenario is 65,500. For the love of God, stop trying to go long on Bitcoin. It's not going to happen. It's just in your head. This is a solid downtrend and it's going to continue so long as there's not new liquidity coming into the market. But that's what's going on. Let's get to the money. Let me turn these off. We have a take profit smashed on Internet Protocol. That's ICP USDT that happened at 10:32 last night. We have an entry for Bard versus Tether. We're going to enter this now. This is going to be a short from current position on a 30-minute confirmation, targeting 68.04. Again, this is Bard versus Tether. This is a crypto perpetual trade. Pardon my yawning. I haven't been up that long today. I just started looking at this stuff about a half an hour ago. $68.04. 0.6804 on a short. Oh. There we go. Beautiful. All right, give me a second so I can get these parameters for you guys. All right, this is barred. It's going to be a 30-minute sell. We've got risk at 2.98. We've got entry at 72.24. We've got stop at 73.65. And we've got take profit at 68.04. Hold on, just realized I was kind of in the wrong place on Twitter. There we go. So here's your call for Twitter, your call for LinkedIn, and for every other platform. We have Bard versus Tether on a 30-minute sell. Your entry price is going to be 0.7224. Your stop loss is going to be 0.7365 for 141 pips. And your take profit is going to be 0.6804 for 420 pips with a risk to reward ratio of 2.98. Again, that is Bard versus Tether. That is a crypto perpetual trade. Moving on, we have LA versus Tether. This is going to be a sell for us as well, targeting 37.15. Gonna hop in this myself real quick. And 0.3715 on a short. Okay. We've got LA. That's a 15-minute sell. Our risk is going to be 3.13. The entry price is going to be 41.47. The stop is going to be 42.85. And the take profit is going to be 37.15. All right, here's your call for Twitter and for LinkedIn and for all other platforms. A hearty welcome to those of you from Southeast Asia. I see you guys trickling in on Nemu TV. Welcome. I know it's massive time frame difference for you guys. We have LA versus Tether, 15-minute sell. Entry price is 0.4147. Stop loss is 0.4285 for 138 pips. Take profit is 0.3715 for 432 pips and a risk reward ratio of 3.13. Again, this is LA versus Tether. It is a crypto perpetual trade. Moving on, we have take profit smashed on LPT versus Tether. We have take profit smashed on Bitcoin Classic versus Tether. We have take profit smashed on augmented reality versus Tether. We have take profit smashed on Cashcoin versus Tether. We have take profit smashed on 0G versus Tether. We have take profit smashed on TRB versus Tether. We have take profit smashed on CRV versus Tether. We have take profit smashed on Pump versus Tether. We have take profit smashed on Rose versus Tether. We have take profit smashed on Injective versus Tether. We have take profit smashed on the AI Prophecy versus Tether. We have take profit smashed on Move versus Tether. We have take profit smashed on ILV versus Tether. We have another take profit smashed on XPL versus Tether. Yes, we took all of these. We have take profit smashed on C versus Tether. We have a take profit smashed on Story Protocol versus Tether. We just looked at Move, so I don't know why that's on there twice. May have been on 2 time frames. We only called it on 1. It's not unusual for us. We have take profit smashed on API 3 versus Tether. We do not have take profit smashed on Alt versus Tether just yet. It's around 50% of the way to take profit. If you're in this trade, move your stop loss to your entry price for a risk-free trade. There is, however, an opportunity to enter on the 2-hour, and we're going to take it. We're going to dump down to 0.00871. Let's move above the 13 EMA. And that's going to be our trade. Okay, Alt to 00871. 1 second. Let me get in this bad boy real quick. All right, I'm in. So let's get this called out, shall we? All right. ALT. This is a 240-minute confirmation. Our risk is going to be 5.81. Our entry is going to be 0.01423. We got stop at 1575. And we've got take profit at 871. What's that? 552 pips. Right on. All right, here's your next signal for Twitter and for LinkedIn and for every other platform. We've got Alt versus Tether. This is a 240-minute sell. Entry price is 0.01423. Your stop loss is going to be 0.01575 for 95 pips. Your take profit is going to be 0.00871 for 552 pips. And the risk to reward ratio is 5.81. Again, this is Alt versus Tether on a 2-hour confirmation. It is a crypto perpetual trade. All right, moving on. We've got XCN versus Tether. We won on this actually earlier this week. We're going to re-enter on a new trade. This is a 15-minute confirmation. It looks like quite a drop. Short from current position, targeting 003235. Oh yeah, this is going to be massive. This is definitely a good trade to get in. You really kind of only need this one, to be honest, if you're trying to grow your account. It's basically going to enter free fall. So it's going to be a really nice chunk of profit once it's done. All right, so we've got XCN on a 15-minute sell. We've got a risk to reward of 6.25. We've got entry at 50634. We've got stop at 53558. And we've got take profit at 3235. Let me enter this myself. This is XCN. Three, two, three, five. Ooh. Okay. Here we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right, we have XCN versus Tether. This is a 15-minute sell. Your entry price is going to be 0.005064. Your stop loss is going to be 0.00535558. This is for 2,924 pips. Your take profit is going to be 0.003235 for 18,284 pips. The risk to reward ratio on this is 6.25. This is XCN versus Tether. It is a crypto perpetual trade. All right, moving on. We have the euro versus the Canadian dollar. We're going to enter this on a sell to 1.61428. Okay. CAD. This is a 60-minute confirmation sell. The risk is going to be 4.91. The entry price is going to be 1.62435. Your stop is going to be at 1.6264. And your take profit is going to be at 1.61428. And the call for Twitter, the call for LinkedIn, the call for every other platform. We have the euro versus the Canadian dollar on a 60-minute sell. The entry price is 1.62435. Your stop loss is 1.62640 for 21 pips. And your take profit is 1.61428 for 101 pips, with a risk to reward ratio of 4.91. This is a cross pair or a minor Forex currency. Moving on, we have the United States dollar versus the Japanese yen. We're going to take this on a buy to 157.457. And USD JPY. It's going to be a 15-minute buy. Our risk on this is 3.8. We have entry at 156.743. We have stop loss at 156.555. We have take profit at 157.457. And that's for 71 pips. All right, the next call for Twitter, for LinkedIn, and for all other platforms. The United States dollar versus the Japanese yen on a 15-minute buy. Your entry price is 156.743. Your stop loss is 156.555 for 19 pips. Your take profit is 157.457 for 71 pips. The risk to reward ratio is 3.80. This is a major Forex currency. Next up, we have the future on the Japanese yen. We're going to take this on a sell to 0.006364. All right, risk on this is going to be 3.87. We have entry at 6393. We have stop at 64005. And we've got take profit at 6364. And the next call for Twitter. The next call for LinkedIn. And now for every other platform. We have the futures on the Japanese yen. It's a 15-minute sell. Your entry price is 0.00633930. Your stop loss is 0.0064005 for 15 pips. Your take profit is 0.0063640 for 58 pips. And the risk reward ratio is 3.87. Again, this is the futures on the Japanese yen. And we have take profit smashed on Turbo versus Tether. We have a buy entry on the Great British Pound Sterling versus the Japanese yen, this time targeting 206.75. EJPY. And the risk on this is going to be 5.0. Additional alerts, so we'll take a look at those soon. And we've got entry at 205.098. We've got stop loss at 204.772. And we've got take profit at 206.75. The call for Twitter. The call for LinkedIn. And the call for every other platform. We have the Great British Pound Sterling versus the Japanese yen on a 15-minute buy. Your entry price is 205.098. Your stop loss is 204.772 for 33 pips. Your take profit is 206.750 for 165 pips, and a risk to reward ratio of 5.07. All right, that is the Great British Pound versus the Japanese yen. That is a cross pair or a minor pair in the Forex world. Let's move on. We've got the Canadian dollar versus the Japanese yen. And that trade just invalidated itself, so we won't be entering that at all. All right, we've got the euro versus the New Zealand dollar. We're going to enter this on a buy to 2.07172. All right, this is a 30-minute confirmation. And the risk is 3.56. We have entry at 2.0 2.05839. We got stop at 2.05465. And we got take profit at 2.07172. All right, the call for Twitter, call for LinkedIn, and for every other platform. We have the euro versus the New Zealand dollar on the 30-minute buy. Your entry price is 2.05839. Your stop loss is 2.05465 for 37 pips. And your take profit is 2.07172 for 133 pips with a risk to reward ratio of 3.56. This is a cross pair for currency. Next up, we have the euro versus the Japanese yen that already invalidated itself, so we won't be entering that trade. We have the euro versus the Great British pound. It also invalidated itself. We won't be entering that trade. And we have the Great British pound sterling versus the Danish krone. Also invalidated itself. We won't be entering that trade. With that, we're all caught up with the alerts for the morning. We'll fall into a 15-minute pacing of entering the market. We do trade futures. Those are on a 5-minute difference from the rest of the markets. So our next opportunity to enter the market will be on any tickers for the futures market at 9:10 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's a little over 5 minutes from now. And then next for the rest of the market, including cryptocurrency, at 9:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. We did have the release of the Producers Management Index for the United States. This is the price that producers pay for raw materials to produce the finished goods that we buy in stores. And that is driving volatility across the market. So our play overall in terms of cryptocurrency is sell, sell, sell. Again, Bitcoin is on a serious tear to the downside, driven by record cash outflows from cryptocurrency and basically whales cashing out for positioning themselves for a better position to buy into Bitcoin. I did explain this earlier. I'll re-explain it again. It is my estimation that Bitcoin will fall on a worst case scenario to around 65,600. These are all the order blocks on the daily that are left. The next one is literally at 1 cent. So we have an order block at 76,200. This is where people are waiting with buy limits to hope to catch the bounce. We have another set at 71,000 even, and we have a smaller set at 65,500. I believe the institutional traders are going to come and liquidate all these people. And then and only then will they start raising the price of Bitcoin. So because there are so many retail traders that have been stupid enough to go long on Bitcoin, this is part of the reason why it's crashing so aggressively. This is what's called a stop hunt. About 85% of the activity in the market are computers. And now we have bots that are driven by AI. They can see where your stop loss is. They can see where your order blocks are. They can see where your limit orders are. If it's close enough to liquidity, they're going to go down and snatch you up and take you for a ride down by the lake. If you're losing a trade, someone else is winning. So that's the game we're playing here. We're not entering the market unless we have an alert, and our alerts are pretty highly accurate. We did win 40 trades overnight. I'll start dropping those after we get off the live today, after 11 a.m. We've done quite well this week. So this is without the 40 trades. I'm going to look at my ticker. Hold on. Now, if you took every trade that I called this week, You would have won 113 trades for $87,474.73. And that's at 0.01, which is the lowest lot size that brokers are going to let you take. Right? We've really been on a tear this week. So congratulations for you guys that have been rocking with me the entire week. We did pass over 6 million pips yesterday as well, which was not something I was expecting. The goal for the year was only 5 million pips. So as of right now, we're sitting at 1,403 wins versus 1,022 losses, a win percentage of 57.86%, and total pips won 6,003,522. Now, do call using a color-coded system. You probably noticed that. Your green trades are going to be your major and minor Forex currency pairs. These are the ones that have the least amount of risk. They also take the least amount of margin for your broker. Your yellow trades are going to be your exotic trades. So this is basically a major currency versus the currency of an emerging economy. An example would be the United States dollar versus the Mexican peso, or the euro versus the South African rand. Next up, you have your blue trades. These are your cryptocurrency spots. These are your cryptocurrencies versus the US dollar itself. Then we have the trades that are the most volatile, but they also get called the most. These are your purple trades. These are cryptocurrency perpetuals. These are a cryptocurrency versus Tether, which is a stable coin. And then we also trade indices, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ. By the way, we won trades on all of those yesterday. We also trade the France 40, the Euro 50, the Japanese Nikkei 225, and the German 30. We trade metals, mostly copper, platinum, palladium, silver, and gold. I don't trade aluminum only because I can't find a broker that actually has it at a spread that's even insane. We trade US and UK crude oil, and we trade natural gas. We also trade about 42 different futures, running the gamut from currency on down to commodities. And we trade about 40 stocks, but we haven't had a stock call since March of this year. So just hasn't been a thing. I do call swing trades as well. I call everything from the time frames of the 15-minute all the way up to 6 months. And I go live pretty consistently. So let me give you guys what that looks like. Let me switch back here first. So if you're not familiar with me, I'm the Pip Messiah on multiple platforms. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Kick, Nemu TV. I'm also on Apple TV, Amazon TV, Spotify, and iHeartRadio with a podcast. We go live every weekday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. First from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Central Standard Time for the London session. And secondly, from 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. for the New York session. We'll go long if we have enough signal calls to justify it. So today, we don't really have any other major news dropping after this point. It will be unusually fast for and we do expect more take profits to be hit as we advance throughout the day. So normally I would have already announced those, but there's too many of them for me to do during the live. I want to focus on getting new signals out. And then in Telegram for the 2 signals chats, I'll go ahead and start dropping the announcements of the profits that we hit overnight. 40 trades by my count. 34 cryptocurrencies. And then we hit trades on the future for Australian dollar, for the euro versus the Czech dollar, for the euro versus the Swedish krona. What is HG1? Looks like we hit on the futures for copper. The mini NASDAQ 100, the NASDAQ 100, both futures. We hit on UK crude oil, and we hit on palladium versus the United States dollar. If you're not familiar for Palladium, it is a rare earth metal that's used in the miniaturization of communication devices and military technology. So it's very important and makes a lot of money. It's very heavily weighted. All right, so we've got nothing new leading into 9:15. Well, for 9:10 for the futures market, we're already in 6J1, so we're not going to re-enter. We got about a minute and a half or so before the next ticker at 9:15. It's going to take TradingView about 3 minutes to get through all of these symbols that we trade. We do trade 439 symbols across 9 different asset classes. So around 8:18 Central Standard Time, we should know if we have any opportunities to get into the market, buy or sell for 9:15. And then this happens every 15 minutes. So sit tight and we'll see what we got. In the meantime, this is the 15-minute on Bitcoin. Again, it's already marked off with all of the order blocks. The green are for buys and the red are for sells. What I'm looking for is for price to, at some point, and I think this is going to happen after 10 a.m. when London closes, to break past 80,600 and start challenging these buy order limits below current price. So we did form an artificial bottom at 80,600 even. If you're not familiar with algorithms, it's mathematically impossible for retail traders to do that. So you know it's computers that drove down the price. And because of that, we know it's likely it's going to break that zone. It just doesn't happen like that. The low for the year was 74,508. We're probably going to break past that. So my advice, avoid the itch in your butt cheeks and don't try to go long on Bitcoin. This is a sell-off. You need to be looking for opportunities to sell. There are very limited opportunities to buy. It does happen. We have one or a few buys, but I haven't called them unless I was absolutely certain that we were going to win. It's now 9:15. We're going to need about 2 more minutes to determine if we have anything. Doesn't seem likely because I haven't heard anything yet. So our next opportunity to enter the market will be at 9:25 a.m. for the futures market, and the middle of the hour, 9:30 a.m. for the rest of the market. That's 30 minutes before the closing bell of the London Stock Exchange. So it's a great opportunity to get up, stretch, grab your breakfast, grab something to drink, and come on back. In the meantime, we're just waiting. Close this. I don't need that. And okay, that. At any rate, I hope you guys have had a wonderful week. I have. Finally getting back into the gym. Want to go get a personal trainer today. I don't know, for the first time in a very long time, I feel like my health is actually on the mend. For those of you not familiar with my story, I've been trading for about 12 years. Last year in August, I had a major heart attack, a stroke, and a quadruple bypass surgery, which forced me to finally retire from accounting and finance. after 23 years. So now I just trade full time. I had been trading part time up until that point. And it's kind of relaxing. I mean, I've probably taken close to 31,000 trades in the last 12 years. Once you kind of see it, you can't unsee it. It becomes easier over time. What you want to do is you want to get to the point where you commit yourself to a certain amount of money that you're okay losing, put that into account, and then grow slowly. You don't want to move too fast. Don't have FOMO as a new trader or as a retail trader, and you're losing your ass in the market, breaking accounts left and right. That's not fun. I know scores of people that have done that for years. In 12 years, I literally burnt through one account, and I learned my lesson the first time. So I'm going to show you guys the mathematics of what that looks like here in a second. Hold on. And this is for those of you that are having problems with the job market, or you have a desire to do something a little different. Let's just suppose you're going to dump $500 into a trading account. You don't trade on the weekends. You're just trading during the weekdays. That's 261 weekdays per year. You just want to grow at 1%, which means your very first day of trading, you only want to make $5. That's extraordinarily easy to do. 1% is easy to get every day. Now, if you trade 1%, if you trade $500 at 1% per day, you're going to end up with $12,718.36 at the end of 1 year. If you then don't take any money out and you keep going, it's 12,718.36. And you do that for another year, just growing every weekday at 1%. At the end of year 2, you're sitting on $323,513.11. If you do it again for your third year, and that's really kind of the mark if you're doing this slowly, you're now sitting at $8,229,105.87 inside of 3 years. Now, most of you will never make $8.2 million in your entire 40-year plus career of working for someone else or for yourself. But it is possible through something like trading because of the power of compound interest. So even conservatively, if you just start small with small beginnings and stick to it every single day, you will see the benefit. Around your second year, you should be able to start taking withdrawals every Friday. And by the end of your second year, you should be able to replace your income from your job, provided you're not making obscene amounts of money, by withdrawing every Friday, 52 weeks a year. Just that 10%. And this is what the journey looks like. Obviously I was not able to work when I had my heart attack. So I ended up losing my insurance. And the only reason why I survived is I had all my trading funds still available to me to pay the $1.8 million in freaking hospital fees that I got for a heart attack, a stroke, staying in a hospital for 7 weeks, and a quadruple bypass surgery, and the physical therapy afterwards, and all the medicine I had to take, and employing a nutritionist so I can actually eat right. Too many Americans, or too many people in the world right now, simply don't have enough money to make it, or they're really only a little bit money away from having real financial freedom. So your first goal needs to be, you need to get rid of all your debt To do that, you either need to make more money, spend less money, or do both. Those are the only three ways to accumulate wealth. Make more money, spend less money, or do both. And what could be more simple than finding a mentor that can help you, who's willing to help you? I do this for free. I've been doing this for 12 years. I have never put my calls behind a pay gate. I don't intend to. When I first learned how to trade 12 years ago, I was paying $300 a month to learn how to trade. And I had two great mentors. They've since moved on and done their own things. But my goal was not only to learn how to trade, but I wanted to be the best signal caller that I could be to help other traders who were struggling be able to profit. 90% of retail traders trade fail inside of 1 year and stop trading. If you can last, i.e., you have someone that can help you profit, what happens is you start to build a belief system. As you start to win, you believe that you can do it. So you keep doing it. After 3 or 4 weeks, it becomes a habit. You get excited to get up for your sessions and go ahead and trade and go on about the rest of your day. And all it requires is a trading platform, a broker where you can take money in and out, entering a number, and pressing the buy or sell button. It requires no training or no specialized training. It doesn't require a collegiate degree. It doesn't require a certification. It doesn't require a boss. It doesn't require reporting to a damn office. It doesn't require any of that. Across all these platforms, including LinkedIn, most of these job boards are filled with fake jobs. They're collecting resumes to see what they could theoretically get in a future state. You got hundreds or thousands of people applying for every job posting. Some people get interviews, but the interviews are fake too. Or they try and exhaust you by taking you through multiple rounds of interviews and it never goes anywhere. Or they're required by law to post the job, but they don't really identify their internal candidate. I know people with doctoral degrees that are having difficulty trying to find jobs. I know people who have just as much experience as I had, 20 plus years doing what you're doing. They can't find work even at a freaking McDonald's. And in the next 10 to 15 years, the job market's going to change again because AI is going to be so sophisticated that whole jobs are going to disappear. Bookkeeping, gone. Customer service, gone. Restaurant jobs, probably gone. They got robots sophisticated enough to run an entire restaurant by themselves. There are countries like Japan that already have this. It's coming. Now, I'm not going to be aggressive and tell you like Elon Musk that inside of 10 to 15 years that basically we won't be working and it's going to be some nice utopian society. But I can see that inside of 50 years. I don't think I'll be alive to see that because I'm 47 at this point. But it's coming. $9.26, we got about 3 minutes and change to 9:30. We have nothing from the futures market. Let's see if we get any other opportunities here. My advice is if you have some type of money laying around, drop it into a brokerage account, drop a follow, start winning, take that money and start doing what you need to do for yourself. Because taking your ass to college for 4 to 12 years and thinking you're going to have a job waiting for you, that's over with. Working for the same company for 20, 30, 40 years and hoping you're going to get a nice retirement, that's over with. thinking you're going to score some swanky contracting job with a company and milk it, that's over with too. They don't need you for that anymore. The only effective way to get in, networking. Old school. You need to know someone in the company that's going to refer you. You can even be a line employee. And that's how you get in. Or you need to hit up these niche job boards, not the ones that are more well known. If you're in IT, accounting, or finance, look at dice.com, DICE.com. Not a single job on there with less than 100K in pay. And these are real jobs, not some fluff BS. If you work in a different industry, just go in and ask one of the, freaking GPTs or AI programs, give me a list of niche job boards for this market, and it'll populate it for you. Start applying from those sites. I guarantee you're going to get callbacks quick. You're going to get offer letters quick. I would actually like to be doing something right now. I've worked every day of my life for 23 years straight. So it feels weird to sit around trading for a few hours a day and then have so much time. Days are starting to meld together. But I'm content with it if I have to be. 30 seconds left to go to the half of the hour. All right, nothing immediate. Again, it's going to take about 3 minutes to get through all the trades. So around 9:33 a.m., we'll know whether or not we have anything. If we don't get any signals, then our next opportunity to enter the market will be at 9:40 a.m. Central Standard Time for the futures market, and at 9:45 a.m. Central Standard Time, the quarter of the hour, 15 minutes before the closure of the London Stock Exchange. This time has given me the opportunity to do something I've been wanting to do for a while. I mean, I'm writing my first book. I keep procrastinating on it, and I shouldn't. I think I'm on 7 chapters. And the concept, I believe, is 26 or 27 chapters, but I'll get to it. So that's been fun. Now, I've got 3 businesses that I've founded that are still active, but I have a large family. I've got 8 sisters and 5 brothers. All of them are professionals. So, right after I kind of was able to be lucid again after recovery from the heart attack, I've transitioned a lot of that stuff in terms of the leadership to my siblings. So they're doing that stuff. I just take my owner draw each month and just kind of relax. And I don't got to be stressed about 70-hour weeks. It was killing me. The only thing I regret is that I spent so much time on my career that I really never devoted any time to myself. So never got the chance to be married, never got the chance to have children myself. So now that I'm older, my brothers and sisters have 27 children. I'm the only sibling that doesn't have any. And my mom, when I see her every now and again, bothers me about it. It's like, prays that she'll live long enough for to see me have a little kid. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll see. I'm certainly in no rush, and I'm for damn sure not doing the baby daddy thing. Nor do I have any desire to have a bastard child. So if I'm not married happily, then that's just not in the cards for me. Just not how I was brought up. All right, so we got nothing for the 9:15 timeline. We're advancing on to 9:30. I'm fine with quiet as long as it's not necessarily something that's egregious. And it's highly likely we'll start getting things after 10 a.m. when London closes. So if you're not familiar, the London Stock Exchange is the largest stock exchange in the world. It has a lot of volume. The New York Stock Exchange is the second largest, but the money from both of those stock markets run typically perpendicular to one another. And this is why, even though you have a lot of volume between 8:30 a.m., this is true. You don't need to be married to have a kid, but you do need to be married to avoid having a bastard kid. And that's something that I will never do. Mostly because I never got the opportunity to meet my own father. I would never do that to a kid. So no kids outside of wedlock. Just not happening for me. What was I? Oh yeah. So between 8:30 in the morning and 10:30 in the morning Central Standard Time, there's a crossover where you have an hour and a half where London and New York open at the same time. So if you're good at this, you get all your setups for London between 2 and 4. Between 4 and 8:30, the market falls into consolidation. Nothing really moves. But after the opening bell for the New York Stock Exchange, and typically beforehand, a lot of your trades are going to hit take profit if you've done this correctly. So you just need to understand direction. I'm getting ready to teach you guys that here in a second. The market only moves in 3 ways: up, down, or sideways. You avoid getting the market when it moves sideways, and you always trade with the trend. Let's look at Bitcoin as an example here. This is Bitcoin on the 15-minute, right? See these colored lines? These are exponential moving averages. This is the 800, this is the 200, this is the 50. What you're looking for to identify a time trend is, and this works on any asset on any time frame. If you have the 800, the 200, and the 50 in that order, BGA, that's a downtrend. So for this, you're only looking for sales. That's simple. Let's give you another example. Let's go to gold. All right, so this is gold on the 4-hour, aqua, gray, blue, the 50 EMA, the 200 EMA, the 800 EMA. So on a longer time frame for gold, you're only looking for buys. So you wait for price to retrace for you, and you get an opportunity to buy. And that's all this is. They try to make it complicated for you. You're looking for structure below current price for buys. You're looking for structure above current price for sales, and you trade with the trend. Anything else is consolidation, and you simply don't enter the trade. That's simple. And you do this over and over and over again. I use TradingView, best $56.99 a month I've ever spent in my life. And I have these alerts set up automatically to go off with my system on the 15-minute, the 30-minute, the 1 hour, the 2 hour, the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, the 1 month, the 3 month, and the 6 month. It does all the work for me. The only thing I have to do is when I'm live, I go in every 15 minutes and I check to see if it's a valid entry and I call it out for you guys and you win. But this never stops. Even over the weekend with the crypto market going 24/7, it gives me opportunities to enter the market. So if I want to get up on a Saturday morning and I want to make myself a couple of grand, I can do that. I get a call from one of my nieces and nephews and they say, Uncle Brian, can you help me with such and such? I can send them that Cash App or that Zelle and not be worried about it. I'm going to get the money right back the next week. I finally got my mother to retire. The woman always wanted to work. She doesn't have to work anymore. I've got two more nieces and one nephew and one niece that are not in college. That'll be the last of them. That's my younger brother's son and daughter. Once they're in college, go ahead and put down that money for their 4 years. I'm done with that. I don't have to support my nieces and nephews anymore. They're going to be just fine by themselves. My brothers and sisters, all I need to do is just relax. And I feel like it's really my mission in life to help as many people as possible, which is why I do this every day. I want to help you guys win. Now, so the United States dollar versus the Chinese yuan, and that trade invalidated itself, so we won't be entering that. Here's another trick that you can use, and this is if you're trying to buy physical cryptocurrency. What you want to see in a perfect world is you want to see, number one, the price of Bitcoin dropping. That's first. Next, you want to go to something called Bitcoin dominance, BTC.D. You want Bitcoin dominance to drop. If it's below 60%, that's ideal. What that means is that other cryptocurrencies are outperforming Bitcoin. So the price of Bitcoin drops and Bitcoin dominance drops. The third thing you want is for Ethereum to outperform Bitcoin. Why is that important? Because Ethereum is the number one cryptocurrency used as gas to purchase altcoins. So if you have all three of those things, Bitcoin price declining, Bitcoin dominance declining, and Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin, that's when you see all the money flowing into altcoins. If you're going to play this game, you follow the money. I'm going to give you guys a cheat site. This is called cryptobubbles.net. Cryptobubbles.net. A couple of things you want to look for. First, you want to look at the market cap of the day. As you can see, just for today, Bitcoin has lost 8.2% in market cap. Ethereum has lost 9.5%. Part of that is cash outflows, and part of that is money moving through the ecosystem of cryptocurrencies and going elsewhere. Next, you want to look at what's happened in the last hour, the day, the week, and the month. Well, in the last hour, even altcoins, money has been coming out. So what's happening? People are taking out their money from altcoins to preserve their capital, knowing the price is going to drop, and then they're going to re-enter again. What about the last day? The same thing. So the last 24 hours has been happening. But the magic happens when you look at a longer time frame. Look for the last week. Last week has been on a tear where people have been making money off of altcoins. Now they're taking their money out of the market. But when you look at the last year, you start to see a real picture. In the last month, Zcash is up 141%. Why is that important? I'm about to show you. Check this out. Hold on. What in the heck just happened to my screen? Okay, hold on. There we go. Or did I get the wrong one? Yeah, I got the wrong one. Hold on. Let's go to trading view. All right, you guys should be able to see me about right now. Check this out. Where's it going? Zcash. Now, Zcash is a hidden gem. It is up 1,007% this year. Now, I distinctly remember in December, like early December, this was trading below 250. Over the summer, that's when they hit that bottom for $20.71. It's gone up here since then. And you can use a site like Crypto Bubbles to follow the money. It's going to show you exactly where the money is moving. You need to put your money where the money is going. So in the short term, look at the 1 hour and the daily. The green bubbles are good. That's where you want to put your money because that's where you're going to get the profit maximization. So you're looking for a cryptocurrency with low liquidity, which means it doesn't have a lot of money in it, because that means it takes a smaller amount of money for it to grow. This is why Zcash is pumping like this. It's one of the only safe havens in the market right now for cash and cryptocurrency when the market is crashing. Everyone's putting their money in Zcash. There's a few others like this. I know you guys saw STRK. Here's another one. In the last week, it's up 51%. In the last month, it's up 86%. Here goes another one. It's FIL, I believe it is. Yeah. In the last month, it was up 6.47%. It looks like it got hit overnight. That's not good. Think of another one I could think of. Hold on. It isn't here. It's here. 0G. It's up 26% this year. Here's something else that you can do with your money. If you're not comfortable with the crypto market and you just want something that's more traditional. And you can do this at any one of these brokerage firms. This is BlackRock. This is the largest hedge funds company in the world. It has incredible funds. What you want to look at is you go to blackrock.com and you want to go to their iShares program. And you want to explore growth-focused ETFs. Why do they keep changing their site? I hate it when they do that. Hold on. Warner you all funds. No, this is not what I want. Hold on, I've got to change things up again, and I hate it when they do this. Okay, I guess we'll have to do it from here. What you're looking at is you're looking for the year-to-date return. Real simple. Let me see if I can get this to format correctly, because this is not what I want either. They used to have it where you can go and look at this by a 10-year return. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it. I hate it when they change their site. All right, we want iShares ETFs. Here it is. That's what I'm looking for. You're looking for your 10-year over year return. There's something called the rule of 72. The rule of 72 means if you take 72 and you divide in the interest rate, it's going to tell you the number of years it takes for your money to double. What you're looking for is anything, and I mean anything, that's over 12%. But you start with the highest yields. So if you were to dump, say, $10,000 into iShares Semiconductor ETF, your money would double under every 3 years. So take 72 divided by 27.55. Your money would double every 2.61 years. So if you're looking at 15 years, three years, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're looking at dumping in $10,000 and it turns into $320,000 inside of 15 years, or a little less than that. 18 years, 21 years, 24 years, 27 years, 30 years. That's the average time frame that most of you guys will spend in your career. Most of you will never make $10.24 million in your career. But if you took $10,000, and this would be helpful for people that are young with a longer time frame, this is what I've done for my nieces and nephews. Just take a small amount of money, dump it into an ETF and let it sit. By the time they retire, they're going to be set. So instead of using capital preservation strategies, like going in and finding a high yield savings account to put your money in at a bank, find an ETF that's going to give you a better rate of return and dump it in there and let it grow. Do not let your cash just sit around. You're losing money to inflation. So this is an example of what can be done. And as you can see, there's tons of funds just for BlackRock that are over 12%. All of these will do the job. And you can do that for all of these guys. You can do it for Vanguard, for SunGard, for Fidelity, for TD Waterhouse. All these guys have these sort of funds. Park your money at the highest yield on a 10-year basis and just let it grow. If you want to do continuing sort of contributions to it, you can. Now note, this same fund is up 43% this year. It's been performing this way since 2001, every year. It's the sort of things they don't bother teaching you in books because they want you to be poor, but they want you to make poor decisions. A bank is the last place you want your money to be parked. If your money is not making you money while you sleep, you're going to remain poor for the rest of your life. Put it to work. All right, it's now 9:51. We don't have anything for 9:45. Our next opportunity to enter the market will be at 9:55 for the futures market. And at 10 a.m. sharp, which is the close of the London Stock Exchange, that's when I believe we'll start getting some action. Kind of not surprised at the slow movement right now. In the meantime, we're going to continue to look at Bitcoin. We know this is going to drop. It already did its reversal. Now it's going to go timber again. And it's going to target this buy order block, which it's already gotten to the bottom of, at 81,000 even. And when it breaks this, it's going to keep falling, this time to 79,100. So we're looking at about another 3,000 point drop in Bitcoin over the next 24 hours. which is going to take the rest of the market with it, which is going to liquidate our shorts. Well, actually, it's going to enrich us through our shorts as we continue to sell along the way. So some of these have already closed. I know we don't have all of these. So 118 and 40 of them are closed. So we've got 68 open trades right now, which is the lowest we've had in a while. We've been over 100 for quite some time because we continue to have opportunities come and come and come. So this should accelerate over the weekend when we get another float of shorts on cryptocurrency. And it will accelerate next week because it's a major news week. So going to take a little bit of a break real quick. I've got to go use the restroom, but I'll be right back. Right now, we are waiting for 10 a.m., about 5 minutes from now. All right, 2 minutes left to go. In the meantime, if you haven't already done so, I would appreciate your support. Drop a follow, like the video, and turn on those notifications to keep abreast when I do go live in the market. Of course, that will depend on the platform that you're on, but I would love to see you back. And congratulations to those of you that took Res versus Tether. This was I can't remember the precise date we took this, but I think it was last week. We're at 9,600 on that trade right now. And take profit, it'll hit for $15,900. All right, it's now the top of the hour. The London Stock Exchange is now closed. What you'll notice across the market is more stable movement of price to the buy or the sell side because we no longer have European money running in perpendicular to US money. Now, trades will move more slowly, but they will move more stably. It's also Friday. So most of the markets will close at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time sharp. And then, of course, you have the continuance of the cryptocurrency market over the weekend for Saturday and for Sunday. So you typically get one day of reversal. It could be either Saturday or Sunday. And then you have continuation of the previous trend, which in this case is a downtrend for the rest of the time. You also have the formation of fair value gaps for markets over the weekend because things are still technically trading over the counter, even though you may not have access to it as a retail trader. So it's a good chance for us to get into certain signals, and then you almost instantly hit take profit when the market opens because the price has moved over the weekend. So I suspect that's going to happen to us a few times as well. So while we wait, we can at least take a look at what next week looks like. So this is today. PMI news was positive for the United States. It's not necessarily good for us because that means that manufacturers are paying more for raw materials, which means that the price of things are going to go up slightly at the store. So this could affect anything other than groceries. So your electronics, things of that nature, are going to be slightly more expensive over the next week or so. All right, so we have G20 meetings over the weekend. We have no major news on Monday. we have a crap ton of major news on Tuesday. So this is 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, an hour before the opening of the New York Stock Exchange. We have Producers Price Index, core retail sales, Producers Price Index, and retail sales. Then that evening, we have Consumer Price Index year over year for the Australian dollar. And right after that, an hour later, a rate decision by the Royal Bank of New Zealand. They are expected to lower interest rates by 0.25%. That, of course, is going to cause New Zealand dollar to be stronger in the short term. So we may have some buy opportunities on NZD pairs. On Wednesday, we have the autumn forecast for England, the Great British Pound Sterling. An hour before the stock exchange opens, we have unemployment claims, preliminary unemployment claims for the month of November at 7:30 a.m. And also the preliminary gross domestic product quarter over quarter and core PCE. So that's going to be major news for the US dollars. Things are going to be flying. Two other things to watch out for. Number one, if you drive a car, you want to be looking at crude oil inventories. To the extent that this comes in hot, that means your price at the pump is going to rise. If it comes in below forecast, or above forecast, that means that your price at the pump is probably going to drop. And then the release of the Beige Book. This is basically the guidance for the U.S. Federal Reserve. This will be the first time in U.S. history where it does not include job data for the prior month. So the Federal Reserve is flying blind for all intents and purposes and making their rate decision coming up. On November the 27th, Thanksgiving, it's a bank holiday for the United States dollar. Markets will be pretty slow, but they still will be moving. So while you guys are stuffing your mouths with turkey, I'm still going to be on those charts making money for us. And then on Friday, a relatively slow day, except for right before the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange, we have GDP month over month for the Canadian dollar. So very fast day on Tuesday and Wednesday, pretty slow for the rest of the week. But then the week after that, things get very fast. December, a lot of movement. The Forex market will probably fall into consolidation like it does every year. So there'll be very limited opportunities on currency. There'll be a lot of opportunities on cryptocurrency. And then in January, when the market starts setting basically the new baseline for the new year, hold on to your britches. It's going to be a great year for 2026. I'm already going to call a goal of 10 million pips for next year. And I think we're going to smash past that. So that's the news forecast for the next week. If you're not familiar with that terminology, what that means is if you made 10 million pips at the lowest lot size you can take, which is 0.01, that's 10 cents per pip, you would still make $1 million. So that's the goal for next year. More six-figure traders. All right, so since the closure of the London Stock Exchange, we've had a decline in price on Bitcoin of another 900 points, accelerating towards this block that I was telling you guys about earlier. It's at 81,000, but the bottom of this is at 80,600, the low for the day. It's going to blast past all of this. Once it invalidates this trade block, it's going to start falling towards the next entry at 79,000 even. So it could be we have a 7,600 point drop in Bitcoin today. That's pretty large movement for Bitcoin. And around that area should wipe out all of the remaining shorts that we currently have and may give us opportunities for others. We're going to need a retracement of Bitcoin price somewhere during this movement to get more entries for the sell-off. Right now, this bad boy is going to drop. As for res, which I just talked about, we're now up $10,000 on that trade, 264.44%. In terms of the brokers I use liquid brokers. I use LHFX. I use BTCC, and I use Top Step X. Those are the 4 brokers I use to trade the 9 asset classes. So just to give you guys kind of a preview of what these platforms look like. This is BTCC, for instance. This is my setup here. I currently have about 770,000 in this particular account. This is where I took the trade for res. Again, we're up 10K. I like this platform because it's kind of easy to use. It has a lot of crypto perpetual trades that I don't necessarily have. It's not as great as having direct access to Binance, but of course, in the United States, we can't get access to freaking Binance. Otherwise, we'd be making even more money on cryptocurrency. But it marks off the take profit for you, and it tells you how much you're going to make when the trade closes. So I can tell at a glance that when this closes, we're going to make another $15,900 off of this trade alone. And then it has a really clean trade history. So it'll tell you when you've opened trades, and it'll tell you when things have closed. So all these trades are trades that we've won. So the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, LQTY, Sign, Arkham, Story Protocol, Move, KSM, that was 4,351 on that one trade. XPL, another 840. Apecorn, another 783.25. Matter of fact, we tripled out on that because we were on a 15-minute confirmation, a 30-minute confirmation, and an hour confirmation, all on the same coin. BB, that's another 1,090. Gun, another 1,555. Looks like we're on 2 different time frames on that as well, probably the 15 and the 30 minute. So it doubled up on that. GOAT, there's another 643. C versus Tether, another 1725. SXT, we've won on this twice this week. Got another 389 off of it. Mina, we went off of that earlier this week. We had another 1,500 off of it. Render, we finally got that win there for 427. Litecoin, we hit for another 1,701. TUT for 2,426. Pendle for 174. Just goes on and on and on. As you can see by the close date, this is all today. There's 40 of these. Where it says 1120, those were all the wins for yesterday. We had a lot then as well. And these are all trades that I've called out in live time on these lives. So no, I'm not bullshitting around. No, it's not smoke and mirrors. We really do this every day. So I try not to overload my rig, but I've got all the brokers that I have open. I've got TradingView, which you guys are looking at right now. I've got Telegram, where I drop the signals. I've got a little kind of Google Sheets where I get the templates for the color code signals. So I take these, I dump them in the Telegram along with the picture of the trade, and I drop in the parameters, and then I drop that signal out for you guys to get. So this is the sheet where I get all this stuff from. Then I'm on StreamYard. This is the back office. So this is how I'm actually streaming. You guys can kind of see what's going on. So this is where I'm streaming from. So it has all my little widgets and setups and things of that nature. And then I have Twitter, LinkedIn, and a couple of other platforms open because I can't sometimes send comments directly to the platform. I have to be on the platform itself. So on StreamYard, for instance, I can't send comments directly to Twitter. So I'm actually on Twitter posting the calls for you guys. Same thing with LinkedIn. I'm actually there. Now for all the podcast platforms, it's voice only. I don't have to worry about that. When the stream goes off of live, normally within the hour, sometimes 2 hours, the stream will post to Apple TV, to Amazon TV, to Spotify, to iHeartRadio, which are the 4 platforms I use for the podcast. And then everyone else just gets the calls the regular way. So we've got YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Kick, and Nemo TV are the 6 platforms that I'm on right now. Nemo TV is Southeast Asia, so all my peeps that are out there in Uzbekistan, in Azerbaijan, in Taiwan, in Japan, in China, in New Zealand, Australia. What's happening? I know it's sometimes the middle of the night for you guys over there, and in some cases it's late afternoon. So thanks for rocking with us. A little slow right now. It's now 10:15, still no calls. We'll know in about 3 minutes if we get anything. If not, our next opportunity to enter the market will be at 10:25 a.m. Central Standard Time and at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time for both the futures market and the market proper. And then, of course, between now and 11 a.m., if we don't get anything, we'll call it a day then. And I'll see you guys bright and early on Monday morning at 2 a.m. for London. For the rest of you, if you're interested in this, I will post the link to my private trading group. It is free of charge on Telegram. And this is how you'll get access to the cryptocurrency calls and the other calls that I drop when I'm not on live. Because I do call nonstop for the most part. So I'm going to drop that for Twitter and for LinkedIn and for everyone else. And this is Project Genesis. It is my private trading group on Telegram that I've been doing for the last 12 years. It's free of charge. If you're on a computer, it's going to require you to log in your phone number for 2-factor authentication, and then it's going to send you straight to the group. So you'll have access to the general chat, which is where I drop news, and you'll have access to the signals chat, which is where you're going to get the signals. Those are color-coded by level of risk. And then if you're on a phone or a tablet, you have to have the Telegram app. So you have to download that from the Apple Store or from the Google Play Store. Once you download that app and click that link, it's going to ask for your phone number again, put that in for 2-factor authentication, and voila, you're into the group. You're more than welcome to it. And then if you need the brokers that I use, if you look at the description to this video, it's going to list the links to liquid brokers, to LHFX, and to BTCC. I'm still waiting on my referral link for Top Step X for the futures, but most of you guys won't start trading that stuff anyway. You'll start with something simpler. So I encourage you to open up an account. Doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Stick with the lowest lot size you can take. Take the trades and start growing your account. You'll see it for yourself. Don't get greedy and start taking out the entire account as soon as you start winning. 10% every Friday. Start paying yourself. You have a good week and you mess around and you win $1,000 that week, take out 100. Your account grows around 6 months in. You end up having a nice $10,000 week, take out 1,000. Most of you won't start with more than $500, so it's going to take you a while to grow your account. It's easier to do with a larger account. But even then, always be conservative with your withdrawals. And eventually it will get to the point where it won't really matter. I still need to tally the other 40 trades we won so I can determine how much I need to withdraw for the day. But through yesterday, we're at $87,474.73. So I know I'll be paying myself at least $8,700 and change today. But I got to book these other 40 trades to see where we are. I'm pretty sure we cleared 100K this week. Because we won 113 trades before yesterday or before the 21st. So those 40 crypto trades hit today. That brings us to 153 wins. And then we have 8 other trades that were non-crypto that hit. So yeah, I'm almost certain of it. Because 3 of those were futures calls, and they'll take a lot of margin to get in, and we won. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I dumped those in this little green section. So we won a futures on the Australian dollar. We won on euro versus Czech dollar. We won on euro versus Swedish krona. We won on HG, which is copper. Funny how it traced up, but it did hit take profit, so we'll take it. We won on the mini NASDAQ 100. We won on the NASDAQ 100. Both of those are futures. We won on UK oil. And we won on Palladium. So 48 wins today. I think we might have more coming, but I know we have 48 for certain. This off. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten today. So I think I'm going to bake some chicken and make a few vegetables to go along with it. But I suppose I should clean my kitchen beforehand. I hate washing dishes, but I'm going to do it. You know, you find yourself as a grown adult starting to reject things you were forced to do as a child. And, you know, as a kid, my mom would make me wash dishes every day. But what would piss me off is, you know, I have a very large family. So imagine washing dishes behind 16 people every day. So it was not fun. It's like torture. So seeing dishes almost gives me hives. I know I need to do it, but demotivated to do it unless I have to. And it's just me right now, so I don't really have a lot of dishes. I just don't want to wash them, but I'm going to. Hmm. Freaking waiting. Got about 1 minute to the futures market at 10:25. About 6 minutes left to the market proper. Yeah, 10:25. I don't hear any dings, so nothing in the futures market. Advanced our way towards the middle of the hour at 10:30. 10:30 sharp. Still nothing. Looks like, yeah, we'll know something about 10:33. We don't get anything, our next opportunity will enter the market will be at 10:40 a.m. Central Standard Time for the futures market, and at 10:45 a.m. for the rest of the market. Okay, got 1 minute left of 10:45. Nothing from the futures market. Maybe that we finished the morning pretty quietly, which is fine. All right, 10:45. Nothing immediate. All right. Next opportunity is going to be at 10:55 a.m. for the futures market and 11 a.m. for the market proper. Looks like we have formed a lower low or lower high rather on Bitcoin. So we should start to see a drop off of Bitcoin soon to challenge this level down here at 80,600. Most of that activity is likely to happen after the lunch hours open in New York at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. The New York Stock Exchange closes at 4 p.m., but the crypto market reset doesn't happen until 7 p.m. So still got some time for some movement here. Meantime, we can kind of see whether or not anything else is hit. Crude oil, not yet. I know we haven't hit anything on currencies. Micro crude oil, still in profit, but has not hit yet. It's got a little bit of a ways to go. And MYM, we see the reversal, but still in profit for us. We have QM, still dropping. There's a little bit of a ways to go. That's for light crude oil. And then we have all the stuff for treasury bonds and bills. That stuff went the other direction on us for the moment. And US oil was close as well. So we're probably not going to get those today. Oil doesn't move that quickly. So we're probably going to get the 4 wins on oil sometime early next week. Then we'll clear out the stuff on treasury bonds and treasury bills next week too. The rest of the stuff we're just waiting on. We took Great British Pound, the Japanese yen. Some buy. Yeah. Section. All right, finish strong. Got a little bit over 6 minutes left to go to 10:55 a.m. for the futures market. About 11 minutes left for the top of the hour. Be done for the week. It's been solid. I need to find something to eat soon because my stomach is growling at me, and I'm glad you guys can't hear that because it is absurdly loud to me. Just trying to find something healthy to eat. I am gonna cook, but it's gonna take like an hour plus for that to get done, and I want something now. Hmm. Hmm. I'm actually happy to see this. It looks like we're getting some retracement on Bitcoin, which is going to give us opportunities to get into more sales on cryptocurrency over the weekend. So, okay. I don't mind a little miniature rally. The key thing is it doesn't break previous structure, which is the top of this wick right here, which means we're going to continue to get a continuance of this downtrend. So this may not happen before we get off of the live, but certainly sometime today before 7 p.m., watch out for a deluge of sell calls on cryptocurrency. As this reversal happens, we get more entries. Could get 70 or 80 calls off of this, to be honest. So what we're looking for, I know you guys can see this red and blue line here. That's the top and the bottom of the Asian range. You can see that wick is right above the bottom of the Asian range. So what I'm looking for is a retracement of price up but below the Asian range, and then a continuance. Do you have a color scheme in mind? Oh, this is exciting. Let's go. We got something. Is that a take profit? United States dollar, Israeli shekels. No, but it is an entry. We've got the United States dollar to the Israeli shekel. It's going to be a buy to 3.32919. This is an exotic Forex currency. All right, USDILS, say 30-minute confirmation, and it is a buy. We have a risk of 4.82. We have entry at 3.27218. We have stop loss at 3.26035. And we've got take profit at 3.32919. That's going to be 570. All right, here's the next signal for Twitter and for LinkedIn and for all other platforms. We've got a buy on the United States dollar versus the Israeli shekel. It's a 30-minute buy. The entry is 3.27218. The stop loss is 3.26035 for 118 pips. The take profit is 3.32919 for 570 pips. Risk reward ratio of 4.82. Again, that is the United States dollar versus Israeli shekel. That is an exotic Forex currency. Right, it's now 11 a.m. Looks like we have a buy opportunity on the Australian dollar versus the New Zealand dollar. We're already in that trade. So with that, we are done for the morning. I will see you guys bright and early at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time for the London session. And again, you guys are not aware, you can find me on multiple platforms. Oops. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and Kick at the Pit Messiah. Certainly drop a follow. Like the video and turn on to notifications to keep abreast of when I do go live in the market. The podcast will be dropping in about 2 hours on Amazon TV, on Apple TV, on Spotify, and on iHeartRadio. That's under the Quiet Storm. That's the name of this show. We do go live every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 2 a.m. Central Standard Time to 4 a.m. Central Standard Time for the London session. And then again, typically from 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. for New York. I'll see you guys at 2 a.m. on Monday. For those of you that are joining Project Genesis, you'll have access to those calls for the crypto market over the weekend. I'll be dropping the wins that we got overnight, 48 of them, within the next few hours. Cheers.